Today we're working on this rub rail made out of a mountain bike tire, and we're trying to get the thing into shape, set up and hold it in shape for a while so it won't try to spring back on us. We'll have to do some nip and tuck on these bands on these corners. Been experimenting with different adhesives. Trouble is, right now I've looked at Loctite PL1 marine adhesive and also Gorilla Construction Adhesive Ultimate, and those don't grab instantly like a piece of Flex Seal tape would. I wish Flex Seal made a double-sided tape. That's exactly what I would use on this. You just touch it and it's stuck, and I need something like that. Probably going to have to go back to some sort of rubber cementing type of product, some rubber gasket adhesive, and those are going to require pressure for quite a bit of time, so I'll have to get pressure on these two spots if I can't find something that'll grab instantly and hold on tight. Today I'm working on a project to install a rub rail on my boat. Because this tubular aluminum coated with Vortex bed liner and paint was getting completely worn off here on the front of the boat. You're always hitting stuff with the front of the boat. So I found some regular mountain bike tire, 1.95 inch mountain bike tire. Got it from the local bike store. And I cut the bead off of it, which has metal in it. I cut that off. I roughed up the back with wire brush, sandpaper to get that ready. We're going to be fitting it on here, but first you have to mask the area off, so when you put the adhesive on this layer and you put the adhesive on the tire, let them dry till they're tacky, and then you put the two together and clamp it. This is the product I'm going to use, 3M Industrial Rubber Adhesive 4799. I contacted 3M and they told me that this was the way to go. This was what I'm going to need to use to get the best adhesion between the type of rubber that tires are made out of and this painted metal surface. There is a whole lot to read about on this can, and I've had to study it to make sure I protect myself and do everything according to the directions. You can't breathe it, touch it, use it indoors, etc. One thing they say is you could clean the surface of the tire with some methyl ethyl ketone, MEK. There's a lot of MEK in this product, so I'm going to try using some of that. This is primer for plumbing pipe, CPVC and PVC plumbing pipe. So we'll see. Then we're going to apply this to both sides. I've got this onto the part of the boat I don't want adhesive on, right up to there. Then I'll come behind. You've got to have a lot of clamps for this job. It's going to actually take all these clamps to get this thing tight, and we'll see how that goes. I'm using an actual 3M mask with the vapor barrier cartridges in it for the organic vapor. And if it all goes together just right, it'll stick the rest of my life, won't wear out, protect the boat. And you just can't buy this stuff. I've looked everywhere. The closest thing I could get was foam padding they used on racing car roll cages, and those are actually a big soft things instead of this really tough mountain bike tire material, which can really take a beating. These came with a safety lid on it like that. You have to use a Church Key old style bottle opener to get this off, and then you can get down to business with it. So it's such a mess, you won't be able to see me actually doing this because I'm going to be racing through getting all this installed. It's all glued up. I've got every kind of clamp in the world. You can see the tire here. And all these clamps are trying to hold it up against. See this black stuff here? That's the contact adhesive, which is attached to the boat rail. It's also attached to the tire. So I've got two layers, one on the tire, one on the boat rail. Here's where the tire terminates. You want to mark it with this blue tape so you'll know not to go too far. Here I couldn't even pull it over far enough because it started sticking so much I couldn't move it. You can't remove this stuff and move it. Once it's on there, it's on there. And you would actually tear the glue away from the metal tubing if you decide to move it. Realistically, 2 or 3 people would probably be better to do this job, but it's just a fishing boat. It is very positionable after the fact. You can just pull it loose, put some adhesive up under it, and reclamp that one spot. I had to run adhesive all the way to the back edge here too, and get it clamped at the bottom. In this area it's really good, and that's exactly where I was taking the most impact, and I made sure I did get it really good and tight. I've been moving the clamps around to get things really good and tight. I should be able to do whatever cleanup after the fact. When I take the tape off, I will be able to get a little cleaner edge on everything there when I do that. Again, this was 3M 47.99. It's a really good product. I really like it. I did do the priming with this mech-based purple primer from Oakley, and it worked. I wire brushed it and then hit the tire with the primer, and that got all the oils and things that might be on the back of that tire off of there. I know this isn't very well lit, but you get the concept. So we'll let it sit here for 24 hours with the clamps on it, take them off, and it'll probably be good enough to go catch a fish and not beat the boat up too bad. I'm going to deal with these tucks after the fact. Some of them I'll fill with the adhesive and leave them like they are just to keep the tire from splitting. This main one on the front, you can see where it's pinched together here. I'll deal with that later too. There's a big one down here on the bottom where I've pinched it together, and there's nothing wrong with that. I can leave that there. I hesitate to split it like you do with upholstery because then that would start the tire ripping apart. If you really have to get serious about it, you can always bend these things flat and screw them down with a stainless steel screw or put in an aluminum rivet. This is just tubular, 2-inch outside diameter tubular aluminum. So it'll end up being just fine. And you can see, even just me pinching that there, how it's stuck together. That's how good this adhesive is. It's sticking to itself. It really is amazing stuff. And I primed even the boat metal with this primer, and then wiped the primer off with a paper towel. You absolutely have to use real mask. I used a real 3M mask with 3M vapor barrier cartridges and organic vapor cartridges, and you could not smell any of this stuff through this mask. It was working. If you can smell it, you need new cartridges. Here we are in a later drying phase. Got all the tape and the paper removed. This stuff will stick for quite a while after you apply it. So if you find any area that's not attached good, you can just merely push on it and it'll start sticking for you, which is great. That way you can still get adhesion quite a while, like 10 or 15 minutes after application. Like if some of the places underneath perhaps might not have bound good, and I'll go ahead and pinch them and get them to stick and get them doing the job. And if I've failed here in my method application, I'll simply remove it all, use some methyl ethyl ketone to clean the stuff off, and start all over again. It's not rocket science. I guess if I had to do it all over again, and I started from this end where I had marked a place, and I'd put a notch for this bend, and I had notched here and here, and it worked and moved, and you can see my notch is slightly off. If I had to do it over again, I'd just apply glue around the whole side of the rub rail, and then I would have attached the glue to the backing on the tire just up about this far, and I would have got this adhered first, and I'd had some help, and then applied the glue to the backing of the tire on around a couple of feet at a time. You don't have to wait very long after you apply the glue to the tire. It's not one of those things where you have to wait 15 minutes or something. Once you get it on there, you've waited long enough, you can go ahead and start sticking it on. But if I'd have done that, I wouldn't have been fighting it being so tacky. With glue all over it, the tire was twisting around and trying to stick to itself. So realistically, two people working, apply the glue to the backing on the tire just as needed to keep it from sticking to itself, and then you could actually get it turned in the direction you want to get it exactly lined up like you want. But it's just a fishing boat. It's going to do the job of, if it doesn't come off, it's going to do the job in protecting the bed liner and paint, and it'll be a good surface to take the impact when I'm pulling the bow of the boat up and trying to get up onto a rock or a log or a dock or whatever. As it wears out, I can tear it off and redo it and put it on again. And that's a nice thing about it. Consider doing this the entire rail all up and down the side of the boat, but now I'm thinking of going another route for the rest of the boat. I only need this where I've really taken severe impact and was doing damage to the boat. So there you have it. Another nice day with the boat project.